Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Lily with San Antonio Water System. We are at the San Antonio Botanical Gardens. I am here with our conservation specialist, Brad, who is going to be talking to us about all these pretty plants in front of us. They're actually going to be available for purchase at our Spring Bloom event that's happening this Saturday. So I'm going to step out of the frame, but before I do that, I want to remind you that we really appreciate if you share. Feel free to swipe and let others know that you're watching this great episode, which will also discuss some pollinator-friendly plants and other ways to attract butterflies to your garden. And also, if you like the topic, please feel free to tap and give us some hearts. So thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Lily. Again, I'm Brad Weir from Conservation at SAWS. And we're here in the old-fashioned garden at the San Antonio Botanical Gardens. And this is, not only is this a great garden for perennials in San Antonio, but it's a great butterfly garden. In part, because it's full of perennials and herbs, both of which are great for attracting butterflies to your garden. These are some plants from the San Antonio Botanical Society, which are going to be available at Spring Bloom this weekend. And again, the Botanical Society specializes in very appropriate plants for San Antonio and plants that can be hard to find, including a lot of natives. At this time of year, you may not be seeing a lot of butterflies today, but they are here, and there are pollinators here today. You're going to see a lot of bees, and at this time of year, bees are looking for anything that's in bloom. So that includes mountain laurel, viburnum, and wildflowers. They'll be the big pollinators this time of year, but of course in your home garden, a lot of people, besides beekeepers, are not looking to grow bees, they're looking for butterflies. And these are some plants that will be sure to bring butterflies to your garden. Viburnum is great. This is actually the Paul Cox viburnum. It's a hybrid of a rusty black haw viburnum, which is a very, very desirable native. It doesn't smell great, as Lily has pointed out. But this will be covered with bees this time of year. But again, you'll see if you're familiar with the SAWS landscape coupons, these are some of the plants that are available on the coupons, and they'll be available at Spring Bloom this weekend. The classic for butterflies is the blue sage. This is the Henry Doyleberg sage, which was discovered growing in a cemetery in Round Top, Texas. And we realized because it was growing in a cemetery that was a plant that was long-lived. And it's now widely available throughout the landscape industry. Sage, blue sages. This is a blue sage that is grown by the San Antonio Botanical Society. And this is a native, a South Texas native, which is appropriate to sandy soils on the south side. It's very hard to find, but you'll see them this weekend at Spring Bloom. But when you're looking for butterflies, one of the very best plants to attract butterflies is ground covers like mist flowers. This is, a lot of people call this plant, this is Greg's mist flower, a lot of people call it butterfly crack. And that's how popular it is. It comes in all sizes. There are various mist flowers. This is the Crucita, which is a South Texas mist flower. It grows very large and blooms in the fall. Both of these will be very popular with butterflies. Again, I'm Brad Weir from SAWS.
Sorry, so real quick question. Tell us about this over here, this white little dainty flower. Is that an almond something?
Are you smelling that? Again, Lily's asking what we brought
like
here.
That, right?
Monarchs will love this. Monarchs will love anything that's blooming, especially if it has small flowers in groups like this where they can walk from flower to flower. This is almond verbena, which is it's an Argentine plant which does very well in San Antonio. It's not invasive and it grows to tree size. In fact, you can see 3 almond verbena trees right here. It's a perennial, so it can be cut to the ground as needed, but it smells strongly of almond extract.
So since we're already on this side, I know we have some monarch caterpillars over there.
Oh yeah.
Those off?
Well, of course, plants like this will bring monarchs any time of year, but if you want to grow monarchs in your own garden, this is tropical milkweed. This is the plant that monarch butterflies evolved on in Mexico. You'll see that, in fact, this tropical milkweed has 3 monarch caterpillars today. Some of the first monarchs I've seen this year. You can recognize they're monarchs because they have an antenna on both sides. And they're eating away. They're going to eat this milkweed to the ground.
So you plant milkweed really just to help them?
You plant milkweed as food. for monarch butterflies. And several times a year when monarchs are here, they'll lay their eggs on the milkweeds. This is the only plant that monarchs can lay their eggs on. They'll lay eggs on it, their caterpillars will develop, eat the plant to the ground, and then it'll reflush and bloom. This is a great summer bloomer, and you've seen these around town on the river walk. It has red flowers like a lantana. At this time of year, a lot of milkweeds are cut back. In fact, we try to cut milkweeds back in the winter because we actually don't want monarchs to hang around here in the winter. We want them to go to Mexico. And milkweed's been very controversial this year, but we've learned to cut these back. And you'll see at the botanical gardens, they've also been cut back.
There's a really pretty red plant back there. You want to talk about that one?
Oh, you must be talking about the firecracker plant. It's a firecracker fern, or Roselia. It's a great perennial for San Antonio. It's blooming here in the old-fashioned garden with a touch of shade, and it's exploding right now. Having a firecracker moment. So that's the advantage of having perennials, and this is a perennial garden here in the old-fashioned garden, but you've always got color going off. And butterflies are drawn to color. Everyone wants color in their garden at home, but a lot of people don't think that if you just go down the list of native butterfly plants, you will have color year-round. And that's great for pollinators.
What about the wildflowers behind us?
The wildflowers that are being pollinated right now by bees.
Yes. What are those, and can those grow here?
So Lily is pointing out what is actually a poppy. And this is not a native wildflower, but it grows like a wildflower. It's planted by seed in the fall, just like you would plant any other wildflower, and it grows explosively all winter long, and it will come into bloom now. These are actually very easy to grow in San Antonio. They're great for any perennial garden. And if they weren't being weeded, this entire garden would be full of poppies today.
What is your, I got a question. What is your favorite butterfly plant? If you could repeat that in the answer.
Okay. My favorite plant for butterflies, well, actually, one of my very favorite plants is the Doyleburg sage. A great plant for butterflies is actually the native Texas lantana. And there are many versions of lantana available, but this plant will be covered by butterflies all summer long and into fall. The native one's actually a little harder to find than some of the hybrids, but you'll be able to find it at Spring Bloom this weekend.
Can you tell us what the theme for Spring Bloom is this year?
The theme for Spring Bloom is monarch butterflies, and San Antonio has become a monarch champion city. All the monarchs left in the world will pass through San Antonio every fall, and it's one of the only cities that has this kind of monarch traffic. So because monarchs are in trouble worldwide, we're trying to support them here, and the city has adopted 20 measures to support them, including planting host plants for monarchs that they can lay their eggs on, which include the tropical milkweed, the Mexican milkweed that they evolved on, but also the native milkweeds. The native milkweeds, the Texas native milkweeds, are basically wildflowers, and they're very hard to reproduce, so we want to preserve them where they remain. Again, I'm Brad Weir from San Antonio Water System, from Conservation, and we're talking about pollinator plants that are going to be available this weekend at Spring Bloom.
We had a question about whether they can bring kids to Spring Bloom.
Oh, yeah, yes, please do. We'll have events for kids. Spring Bloom's going to be at SAWS headquarters, which is on Mulberry and 281, right by the zoo. And you will see the traffic there this weekend.
Where can they get more information?
Oh, if you want to know more about Spring Bloom, it's on the SAWS website at saws.org/springbloom. We brought a pollinator plant for milkweeds here. Actually, this is a larval host for monarchs. A couple of other larval hosts that you'll see in the old-fashioned garden include passion flower, and this plant monarchs don't lay their eggs on it, but fritillary butterflies do. And passion flower is basically a perennial weed on every fence line in San Antonio. But if you preserve it, it has the beautiful passion flowers, and it'll have butterflies all summer long. And a very special favorite butterfly plant is pipevine. This is the plant that pipevine swallowtails lay their eggs on, and they're the blue and black butterflies that you see in summer. And you can see this plant is basically a ground cover, but there are different versions of pipevine, and the tree behind me is covered in pipevine, the vine crawling up its trunk. Several times a year it'll be eaten to the ground by caterpillars. So
It doesn't hurt the tree?
doesn't hurt the tree.
Okay.
And it freezes back in winter. So, but pipevine is planted here, not because it's beautiful, although it is beautiful, but for butterflies, because this garden is planted as a butterfly garden and it is full of moving color all summer long.
Have any other questions? Do you want to wrap?
Okay, okay. So again, I'm Brad Weir from San Antonio Water System, and look forward to seeing you at Spring Bloom this weekend from 9 to 1 at SAWS headquarters.
Oh, we did get some questions right before. Sorry.
Okay, we have some questions coming in.
What are the hours of the event? You said 9 to 1, and will pesticides kill butterflies?
Oh, yes. Pesticides will kill butterflies. The milkweeds that are grown by the Botanical Society are not treated with pesticides. And that has become a concern in recent years. We realized that a lot of the milkweeds being produced commercially were being sprayed with pesticides in the greenhouses. So you want to look for homegrown and native grown and organically grown milkweeds if you're planting them for monarchs. Okay? So hope to see you this weekend. Thanks very much.